Star Voyager was released for the Atari 2600 in 1982 by Imagic. You control a ship who is on a mission to return home and wipe out enemy ships commanded by a fleet that's attacking your home base. Enemy ships consist of these red mofos that fire white bombs towards you. You counterattack with photon torpedoes, which fire one at a time and alternate between coming from the left and right side, or lasers, which are far more effective as they cover more ground, but they also use up more energy, which is indicated by the number on the right. You max out at 99. So naturally you'll want to conserve these, since essentially you're draining your own life by firing them. Thankfully, you can restore your energy by passing through a star portal, which will show up after you hear the peppy little tune in the background. Use the radar to locate the portal, line yourself up, and you'll pass over into the next galaxy and your energy is replenished. Just don't collide with the border of the portal or you're fucked. Some odd quirks about the game is that you use both joystick controllers to fire, one for the photon torpedoes and the second player controlling for the laser. It's not the most effective scheme, but alas, there was only one button on each controller. You can hold both controllers in the same hand, or channel your inner Gumby to reach the other controller's button. But a couple alternatives are to either ignore the laser option entirely, or have a second player control the laser fire. You can switch the difficulty option to A, so your default weapon is the laser, but you better make sure you connect quickly, because you'll be desperately low on energy quicker than you want. Another variation is a two-player competitive mode, and this isn't the standard alternating method where you take turns and see who gets the higher score. The second player actually controls the enemy ships. You can also use this two-player mode to practice navigating with the radar, the pilot controls, where down pulls you upwards and up tilts you downward, not to mention timing your attacks. Your ultimate goal is to pass through the 7 portals back to your home base. The more enemies you destroy along the way, the more points you earn, and in turn, the higher your rank is, with the highest being Admiral. Star Voyager is very simple. There's not a lot of variety. It's the same enemies all throughout. And aside from the aforementioned two-player mode and one higher difficulty setting, there are no other variations. It also isn't the most innovative game in the world. This was during the peak of the space shooter saturation kick. But the simplicity is what makes this game work. It's just a plain, fun, first-person shooter with tight controls and addictive gameplay. I look at it as the equivalent of Battlezone in outer space. Plus, the few variations that do exist in the game are pretty unique. You never really get to control the bad guy too often, especially back in '82. What else makes this game unique is that you can actually beat it. Most of these arcade-style games go on into infinity until you die, with the goal of racking up the highest score. In this game, you can actually survive. It's actually kind of uplifting. Star Voyager hardly ever gets mentioned in conversations about games for the Atari 2600, probably partly because there were 9,000 space shooter games on the console, with 4,000 of those with the word star in the title. So yeah, it gets lost in the shuffle, but it's well worth checking out.
Somebody else took his place and bravely cried.